Hi, Dr. Brett here again. Now, one of the things I want to go through is understanding our emotions. So if we have a look at the simple pyramid here of the psychology part of what it is, how we feel that drives our behavior, which is the procedures to get to our success. The psychology is understanding our emotions. So if we have a look at the emotions, there are 5 primary emotions that we have a look at. Glad, mad, afraid, sad, and bad. A beautiful little poem that you can use to remember it. So when we have a look at glad, and our emotions are primarily our body's way of communicating something to us so that we understand what's happening in our body and our body trying to tell our brains what to do in certain scenarios. So what it is a communication thing. So when we have a look at glad, what we're saying is our expectations in the world are being met. So that's cool. Carry on doing that. That's the message. Okay? When we have a look at mad, mad is a form of anger, frustration, irritation on different levels. And the body communication is often about boundaries or about unmet expectations, and the degree to which our anger is expressed or how we feel is usually the degree to which the boundary is being transgressed or our expectations are not being met. So for instance, I have an expectation that my wife doesn't cheat on me, and if that happens, there's a boundary there that's transgressed, and my expectation is that boundary. So anger is a proportional part of that. It's not wrong. It's the perfect explanation as to what's happening. If someone jumps over my fence and attacks my children, that is a boundary that's being transgressed and an unmet expectation. I expect my people to be safe, or my children to be safe in my home. So that's a way that I am then, the action is usually a call to action to do something about it, either to say something to someone, to change behavior, or to change expectation. So anger usually riles us up, and is the communication then is to a call to action. A major thing to understand is we need to do something, run away, fight, or do something. I have an expectation that people on the roads are supposed to abide by the rules. And if they don't, whether it's a red light or stopping on the side of the road, it upsets me and I get angry because my expectation is not being met. So when I deal with traffic congestion, for instance, when I didn't expect it, I need to have a look at, like, okay, how am I dealing now with this issue? I'm going to change my expectations so that I don't get mad. Traffic congestion happens, or traffic jams happen. Interesting way. So it's important to understand what that means when we have a look at understanding anger. When we have a look at fear, so we've got the cheesy thing of saying afraid, okay? That is our way of understanding fear. So fear, once again, is a natural way that we understand something that is triggering us to respond in this way. And fear is your friend. Okay? Do not go with this nonsense that you mustn't live in fear. It's absolute nonsense. Fear can be our friend. It's when our brain is working perfectly and the brain is telling us to reassess risk. If I go and jump off a really big bridge, my fear is telling me, you need to reassess here. Is this worth the risk? And if it is, make sure everything is decent, and then you can jump off the bridge. So fear is telling us to stop and reassess. Reassess. very, very important to understand fear is your friend. When we have a look at sad is an indicator and the brain's way of telling us that we've lost something. We've lost a dream, we've lost an idea, we've lost a friend, we've lost a possession. The call to action there is to go down and to mourn or to understand things that are important to us. Okay, so it's not to, once again, for instance, if we lose someone, is to run away or to try and make ourselves feel better. The call to action is to go into a mourning process where you can actually understand what is meaningful for you. When we have a look at bad, the two things here are guilt. Now, guilt means that I have an expectation how I would like to be behaving in the world, and I'm not behaving like that. For instance, I don't want to eat sugar, and I'm eating sugar. So I feel guilty about that. Or I'm not supposed to lie, and I tell a lie. Or I'm not supposed to cheat, and I cheat. These are behaviors that are not in accordance with our expectations about how we would like to be behaving. And the call to action here is to either change the behavior or change the expectation. You can then say, okay, cool, I'm okay with having one serving of sugar a week, or I'm going to make sure I don't have the sugar. So you either change your expectation or you change your behavior. But that's what guilt means. The other side of bad is shame. Now, shame is a very interesting thing to have a look at, because that means that who we are as a being is not who we want to be. And there's a deep, deep process with this, and it's a very interesting way at looking at how we can show up in the world. Because if we're showing up with shame, it means we actually believe that our behaviors are who we are. You are a liar. You are a cheat. And these things are telling us that that's the core of who we are. And that there's some really, really deep work to go with that. Therapy, coaching, psychology. So you need someone very, very skilled at helping you deal with shame. It's not something that I want to get into flippantly like this. So remember, all of these are perfectly appropriate feelings that you have. So when you're going through your feelings and understanding feelings, understand that they all have a message to you. They are interrelated, but make sure that you understand how you're feeling and what the feeling is telling you, so that you know what your brain is trying to tell you. Are you under threat? Are your expectations not being met? Is this how your life is wanting to be? And various things like that. So get into that, understand it a bit more, express it, and then see where all of these happen in your body. It's a beautiful way to be exploring your emotions with your psychology. Awesome stuff. Enjoy that. And remember, feelings are perfectly appropriate. They're not good or bad. They're communications that your body and your brain are trying to say to you. Awesome stuff.